up, y'all? Man, welcome back to the Man Kave Experience with me and Ron, man. Hey, golly, it's just been kind of a strange thing. I've been, what was that? I'm like, what was
Fair when we try to record and I'm like pointing the finger this way and it's usually so I'm gonna point that way.
Well, see, you're right there. Yo, we just clowning around, man, just clowning around. Uh, but it's, man, Ron, I've been having something interesting, man, here rearing this ugly head that I've been dealing with, and it popped in my head, like, how do other men deal with anger? You know, because we talk about the mindfulness and all of that, and then I just had a couple experiences that just popped up, like, you know, some really big fires where I noticed I was really angry, or the other person was really angry, and I was just like, yo, we need to chop it up you know, in the cave about anger. You know, it's just kind of, I'll be kind of interested to know, like, you're a human, you know, and I'm pretty sure you get mad at some point. And like, what does it feel like? Can you tell when it's coming, or when you're in that moment? Like, do you have to reflect back? Like, talk to me about it.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely don't feel overall I'm an angry person. I mean, I don't fly off the handle quickly. Probably the one that I fly off the handle the quickest with would be my son. Um, so for me, what comes up when I do get angry, I just feel that almost that pit in my stomach, that energy kind of swirling. I also kind of feel it in my head, you know, just that, you know, kind of what I want to say, what's happened in the past, you know, all these things that led up to just that feeling that overcomes me. And I really don't, I know for myself, because I really try to put it out there with others about just that we have a choice in those moments and to not come from a place of anger. I mean, I think because oftentimes anger is coming probably from a deeper, you know, experience or feeling around fear or sadness. So it comes up very quickly for me, but it dissipates very quickly as well. I'm not one that goes out and like destroys things. I'm not one that talks about, you know, killing things. I'm definitely a much more, I guess, you know, on the surface level type anger type, you know, which can go away pretty quickly. But I catch myself more and more now of it's like, why do I get to that point where I can't just at least acknowledge that it's based on some sort of, you know, expectation of somebody else, right? You know, if I get angry with my son about doing something, it's because I'm expecting him to be a certain way. And most times when I get in that situation, it's like I realize that I can create the same message to him in a way that's not going to make him feel the fear, because he gets, you know, nervous, he gets scared, and it's real. And I sometimes downplay even that. It's like, you know, what are you getting scared about? I mean, so I sometimes don't realize if I feel like I'm, you know, kind of in I guess a peaceful anger state, you know, not like an aggressive state, that it scares the shit out of him. And then it scares me. It's like I'm being this father that's creating this layer of fear within my son. So for me, again, it doesn't boil over to where I'm just like rage. I don't can really remember a time that I felt rage, but the anger comes up and I feel very quickly to like, you know, why am I sitting here in this emotion? Which is not normal, right? I think for men, and I'd love to hear what you have to say, you know, what do we do with that fear? Do we just, you know, internalize it? Do we actually go out and be aggressive? Do we say things we, you know, shouldn't say or don't want to say? And then we have to backtrack or not and create this, you know, unwillingness to even have a conversation of what's the root, right? What is the, you know, may not have even anything to do with what's, you know, causing what I think is causing the anger. It could be something that built up from last week when you made a different comment.
Right. Yeah, see, man, it's strange for me, man. Like, I've always been told I have a quick temper. But hearing you talking is sometimes, and I realize now that a lot of it comes from me being very rigid in my expectations and beliefs and just hopes for people. It's like, okay, well, I think I know you. And so if you do something out of like that's outside of that box or what I think you should know, sometimes it's boom, like automatic. And I'm like how they say 0 to 100 real quick.
So if I
uh,
asked you in that moment to you're at your peak, right? Draw me a picture. What might that picture look like?
and it's different, man. It's almost different levels because like with the kid, you know, with Mosiah, like the same thing, you know, it's that parent type anger. You just like, and you just want them to get it right. And it's more of like a frustrated anger, like, you know, stop messing with the blinds. Like, how many times do I have to tell you, like, stop it? But then sometimes, you know, it could be, you know, like in a relationship, it can almost turn into rage sometimes. Like, I don't necessarily feel it in my body. I feel it more in my head. And it's just like the thoughts go on supersonic speed and and now I'm just like, just angry, 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 angry. Uh,
And no control, probably no control at that point.
um, there's there's still some control. I guess I could say there's no control over the feeling of it, but the thing that helps me calm it down or not to do something is I have sense now. I mean, you know, because I used to be the person like if you said something, if I didn't like it, we could fight. What? You don't like it? Let's go.
Physically, right?
Uh, or you know, I would get so mad. I can't tell you how many cell phones or devices I've gone through. Like getting like a trigger for me is like if somebody would hang up on me. You would hang up on me. Now get this, you would hang up in my face. I get pissed off and I throw the phone. You
Was
gonna
that,
hang up on me?
so I'm curious, is that why you went to work for an electronic place where you could actually repair?
No, that was kind of because what I
Maybe.
went to school for. Um, who knows? Maybe it was a setup, right, to get cheap labor for the stuff I destroy. But now, I mean, it's to the point like I can feel it and not necessarily. I wouldn't say react, but have negative actions on it.
Right.
You know, like destroying stuff. Now I know. For instance, yesterday it got to a point because an employee was straight up telling me to my face that I was a liar, and I knew the story and that's a direct attack that wasn't allowing me the respect that I given him, cutting me off, and it's just one of those. And now I'm to the point like I have, and that's what I mean. I have sense, so I know when I'm in a professional environment, I can't react the same way or do the same things, and I know, hey, I can just respectfully walk away, and you're the higher person here, so hey, can I leave this, dismiss myself, because there's no point in me being here and it being heated. With that being said, it's like almost two different lives because I could be at home and it's like, nah, we finna talk about it. Like, no, I'm not. But even still, sometimes it's, you know what, like, no, I don't even want to hear, like, and I might stay mad for a bit though. It'll fester.
Do you think you can effectively deliver a message when you sense that anger coming on, that you can actually still state your point? Or is it more, I guess I'm thinking of as a man, is it important for us psychologically to like display this like I'm stronger than you, I'm more powerful than you, I can, you know, I'm in control of this situation? I'm just curious, when you're living and feeling this, you know, what other things might be coming up as a man, right? That we almost feel like, you know, we need this person that's in front of me to know that I got this. I'm in charge of the situation. You can say what you want, but ultimately I'm going to kind of dictate how this conversation goes.
Man, it don't really come up like that for me, honestly, bro.
Yeah.
It's one of those where, cause it just hit. And for me, like when I go back and look, you know, revisit the situation once I'm calm, for me is most likely a pride thing, you know, or it's sad to say an ego thing. Like you hurt my feelings and boom, and now since you hurt me, and maybe that's just that mass part of it subconsciously, I guess you could say, but it just comes across more my pride's been hurt or my ego's been hurt.
So
And so,
so who do you tell that to?
I haven't been able to say that yet.
Right. That's a huge point though, right? Because we can recognize after we say something, it's like, oh, you know, I said something that I didn't necessarily mean, or I said it in a way that it lost its meaning or whatever it might be. And then afterwards, we now have the opportunity to reflect, right, and understand it more. And then we identify what caused it, and then we kind of stop there, right?
Oh no, I eat crow. I eat crow. You make that walk of shame, like, damn, that was all me. Like, shit.
But in your relationship at home, do you then, you know, kind of come up and say, you know what, my pride got the best of me. You know, I
Oh
spoke.
yeah, you hurt my feelings. That's why I react. Hey,
And but I think part of our point in this conversation is that's not always our default answer, right? We keep it,
hell no.
right, because we're not willing to show that part of us that we can say, yeah, I made a mistake.
And this is not something I've been, you know, I'm 40 and this ain't something I've been doing for 20 years too. Like, y'all hear me out there. It's been a lot of years of work and a blind work because I didn't even know I was doing it, but now it's just been only a few years. Honestly, man, since we went to school and I started learning to, okay, pay attention to your emotions. And that's when all this started, man. Like, I'm gonna say 3 years ago, man, I would have never told somebody, you know, that I was dating or, you know, my wife or whatever, you hurt my feelings. No, because that wasn't what a man doesn't. I can't allow her to see me being weak because now she might see me as a softie and one, I might lose her or she might try and take advantage and I need to be in control and all of that, all of those different masks. But now it's, you know, I'll be honest, I'm trying to get to a point to where I can say I'm enlightened and not let, you know, be dug off a water back. But I mean, it's gonna happen. And I would like to be in the moment and say, oh, you're reacting this way. But now it's at that point where I'm like, she's sitting on the couch and I'm on this side. And then it's like, you know what? Damn, babe, I'm sorry. You know, you made what you said made me feel this way, which resulted in me reacting this way. So what can we do to fix it? You know, to avoid this? Because where I'm at currently, this is how my mind is wired, and I'm working to rewire it a different way. So let's come together and figure out a way we can coexist with the way you're wired and with the way I'm wired. And, you know, but that's, yeah.
Well, and I think it's your willingness to create a relationship with anger, right? It's almost to like sit you and you know, whoever you're having that disagreement or argument with or that energy from. It's like, let's sit you and I on the couch. Let's also sit anger over here and let's talk about what anger means to us. You know, why does it have to be something that you need to necessarily understand? Maybe it's just more, let's just put it out in the open so maybe we have similar feelings about it. Maybe we're more connected on what anger actually is in our life that we can actually let go of and not feel like there's this need to, you know, compare and despair. Like I can be more angry than you. I mean, you raised the bar to here. Now I'm going to show you even more. I'm going to like puff my chest out. And it's like, no, you're not going to one up me. I mean, what if we just, you know, allowed anger to sit in that room with us, kind of disconnect with it and really share with what it, not just about that situation, right? I mean, just talk about what, you know, maybe reflection back on what anger is, you know, kind of how it's been looked at in your life. I mean, because then we don't know, you know, oftentimes what the history of anger or any emotion has been until that moment, right? We assume based on our own experience that they're going to respond to anger the same way I have. But we've had, both of you had completely two different experiences. So we both know as coaches and as human beings that, we carry a lot of these things from our past into our present. And, we may be doing exactly the same behaviors that we experienced in our life. And, I think we have to then not, kind of take a step back and judge that. It's just more, how can I change my behavior now? So anger is not the default. Maybe it's, maybe it's just a little bit of uncertainty around when that energy comes up. It's like, what is it trying to tell me? What is that anger trying to tell me about the situation that I can learn from, versus me just taking this bomb, throwing it at you and say, here's some anger, deal with it.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, man, that's an interesting way. Because now how I look at it is I try to identify the triggers. Why did I even get, what allowed me to get that pissed off to where I wanted to just destroy you with my words or whatever, because I feel like there's something to that. And I need to understand that, because who's to say this same situation won't pop up again and could potentially put me in that same place. So for me, I look at it like, man, let's recognize that part.
And how can we heal this situation versus take actions that are going to only
right.
Can continue to be in the same pattern? Because we, again, you and I both know that we, create habits to move us forward in our life and to experience something different. Or unfortunately, we keep behaviors and patterns and habits that ensure that we stay stuck, because back when we were stuck with that many years ago, it served a purpose for us. It kept us safe. It kept us feeling loved. It kept us feeling a sense of belonging. And we don't realize that these behaviors that we're continuing to step into are ensuring that you never move past that point. You're just kind of stuck in that mode of the old experience and how it benefited you. And you have to acknowledge that I think the whole idea of, everything we do has a positive intention, right? So even those things that you're like, really, everything? I mean, if you can come out of it with the idea, and we spoke to Brian about this last time, what is this experience doing for me? What is this anger that's coming up inside of me trying to tell me about me? Not about the other person, but what is it trying to tell me about me? And I think if we can just be curious in those moments when that comes up, just to pause, because the other thing I was thinking about when you're talking about Messiah, and it's something I've tried to be more mindful with Anthony, is, those little things that get under my skin, like, wash the dishes, don't leave the dishes in the sink. If it doesn't happen, then I get angry about it, or anger will come up. And I forget where I read it, and I think I've shared this with you. I may even have shared it here on the show. Is there's going to come a day where he's not even going to be here to leave those dishes there. So here I'm spending time, precious time, where we're in the same house, experiencing family, and I'm identifying something very small in nature to be angry about, versus I could, in a loving way, just say, would really help me out if you, at the end of the day, please put your shoes away. Really, I mean, so I think we have those little small power struggles that can lead to anger. And it's not the big things that, you come home drunk and you've been drinking every night and you get upset with each other, and those things that are much larger in nature, those daily subtle little things that happen that cause little small experiences with anger or rage or, all these fears that build up over time. So I think those are the things I think still have to be even more aware of, because those are the habitual things that we do every day.
Yeah, yeah. And man, before I go into it, I was just thinking, we got to overcome that fear too of vulnerability. because I was like, yo, and it just hit me like a lot of it. I was scared to even just be open, and so we have to allow ourselves to want to dive deep and understand that, and get over that fear of that male ego, because that male ego is something else, dude. It's something else in our lives. But I'm noticing more and more, like I feel I feel complete when I'm able to let her know, or anybody in my life know, hey, this hurt, or I felt this way. Um, to the ego standards I've been taught, I feel more masculine when I do that. It doesn't demasculate me in any way. I think we need to get, or try and get to a point, or start doing stuff to explore that along with all that other stuff.
And I think
Because it's really just it's really just a misunderstanding of emotions and thoughts. You know, is really what it is.
and you could ask that question, what do you realize? This is how I'm interpreting this anger. This is what I'm feeling. Is that what you're actually trying to put out there? Because this is what I'm feeling. And then give them the chance to explain that, right? It's like, no, that's not what I was trying to say. So I apologize, or that was not my intent. And I think that then we have to understand that, wow, okay, I'm giving them the opportunity to really share with me some insight on how they process things that come their way. And the other part of what you're saying is, we decide only for ourselves on how we respond to something. So when we let go and we take that avenue of, I'm gonna be vulnerable. I'm going to, not as a default, just, okay, you're right, kind of that smart ass remark of, hey, you're right again. More the authentic, you got a good point there. I really appreciate, what you're saying, with no expectation of how they respond, right? We cannot change how somebody else reacts to us. And that's our goal, right? Or our challenge, especially as men. It's like we don't hear what we want to hear. And then we think that we need to tell you how you need to respond to what I just said to you. Well, it's not up to us. We have no responsibility, zero responsibility of how others react. I think when we let go of that, then I think altercations or these back and forth between couples or siblings or friends are much more minimalized, because there's not that that fuel, adding fuel to the fire. It's like, if you're not adding that extra comment, then what are they going to respond to?
Right. I'll kind of end with this. One of the most important things that I've realized around anger, and as a man, and just across a lot of men in general that I've come across, is I would offer this hint: practice listening to understand versus listening to respond. Because when I can look back over most of any difference of opinions I've had with people that got roused up, it was because I was listening to respond. And I'm listening to respond versus just listening to truly understand and ask questions, and also allowing them the respect, and opening up a space within me so they can ask me questions as well. So if I had anything to offer to all y'all listening out there, is one, listen to understand over listening to respond, and don't be afraid to show your true emotion, or not show your true emotion. I take that back, but verbalize what it is you're feeling and why. It's not going to make you any less of a man, any less of a woman. You'll come out of it feeling a lot stronger at the end. You really will. Just try it.
I love that. And what I was kind of coming into my mindset, what I was sitting here, hear you saying that was, for me, it's my willingness to just experience those emotions that come up and just recognize them. And in that moment, if I need to authentically tell somebody that I'm sitting in front of, I'm going to say, here comes anger, here comes sadness, here comes frustration. I want to give you a forewarning so we can maybe stave it off before we go there. Because I think, we usually catch people off guard, right? Or we're caught off guard by somebody else's anger. You fly off the hook and we're like, where did that come from? What if we just allowed ourselves to just be honest with ourselves? Okay, here comes anger. I'd like to let you know that this feeling is coming over me right now, where I'm going to respond in a way that's probably not going to be helpful for you or me. So before I even say anything, I'd like to maybe see if we can kind of have a better conversation going into that. So maybe anger will not even come up. Maybe we can stave it off and really understand about each other a little bit more. And that's kind of where I'm at. It's just that willingness to be clear with myself and clear with others, that it's almost like that forewarning, right? Okay, here it comes. Because we all know what that feeling is. There's something that tips us off that anger is coming, sometimes sooner than later. And what if we just stopped in that moment and said, okay, anger, I have a choice here. Maybe I can tone it down. Maybe I can create a different, reaction. Maybe I can just not react at all and see what happens, and be open to what might be, come up as a result of not taking the same action you've always taken before and expecting a different result.
Yeah, that's insanity, by the way.
Right?
Oh man, hey, you know what? I'm gonna try that one, dude. I'm gonna try that this week. But I was just thinking, in a funny way, like and I'm just thinking with Kanisha or something. If she says something and it make me mad, I'll be like, hey, I feel angry, without her knowing, and see what happens.
Yeah, maybe have a conversation. Let's give each other permission to, before we get angry or something, let's just let each other know that anger is near the surface right now before it even happens.
Yeah, we've been bouncing around the idea of a safe word. Or like when it gets to that point to where you just like, just the safe word. Yeah. Safe word, muskrat. But hey, man, that's it, y'all. That's what was on my mind, man. I was like, all right, let's kind of chop it up around that, man. I appreciate y'all joining us, listening to us. As always, man, give us some feedback if you want. Like it, share it, subscribe, do whatever. You can also find us on Facebook, the Man Kave Experience with the K. Yep. Man, Ron, appreciate you, bro. Sharing as always.
Yeah, kind of echoing what you said. I mean, I think just our emotions can drive our decision making. So if we can live and sit in those emotions, whether it's anger, happiness, fear, sadness, all these things are emotions that kind of flow in and out of our life. So if we can actually sit in those and not react to them and understand them more, I think our decision making and our actions that come out of that are much different. So you, the listener, we'd love to hear your thoughts. What does anger mean to you? How do you respond to anger? How might you change or shift something in your life where anger isn't so, the default button right in front of you to push? Maybe it's way back down the corner that is something you very rarely push. And when you do push it, you express it in still a positive way that can be understood. You're owning your shit. You're not holding, yourself responsible for somebody else's shit, and you have a clear conversation and what the expectation is. So I truly love this space. I love you. I love all you listeners. And till next time, here in the cave with the K, Ron Servin saying my peace outs.
All right, man. We'll holler at y'all next week, y'all. Next Tuesday.
Right. Have a good evening.
All right. Hey, you too, man.
See ya.